What do you tell the crypto critics? And I'm thinking Senator Elizabeth Warren. She has said the following. She says, we have money laundering rules that cover banks and credit unions and stockbrokers and gold dealers and even Western Union, but current rules don't cover big parts of the crypto industry, and crypto likes it that way. Is she right?
No, that's just simply not true. I mean, Coinbase is a great example of this. I started this company more than 10 years ago now, and I started it in the United States for a reason. I believed that this needed to be built here in a compliant and regulated way. So we've actually been regulated for about 10 years now. I mean, we initially sought out money transmission licenses here in the U.S. because that was the closest thing we could find to a license that made sense. We've since gone beyond that. I mean, we got one of the first BIT licenses in New York. We're regulated by the CFTC, a federal regulator here. We registered with FinCEN. And by the way, that's just in America. So the U.S. risks really being left behind here a little bit. You know, the rest of the world is actually moving and trying to draw crypto companies in. You know, London and Singapore and Hong Kong and the financial hubs of the world are saying we want crypto to be built here. Europe just passed comprehensive crypto legislation. And so the U.S. really risks falling behind. Yeah, I mean, I think new legislation is needed. And the reason is that if you look at Americans, 80% of them feel like the current financial system doesn't work for them. You know, the fees are too high, the delays are there, it doesn't serve everybody equally. And so, and it's not surprising, by the way, you know, the current financial system is built on 40-year-old technology. Some of the laws have been around for 100 years before the internet even existed. And so, you know, my belief is that cryptocurrency is actually the most important technology that can help update the financial system. And what's really cool to see is that actually the user base of crypto, you know, advocates out there, there's 1 in 5 households in the U.S. are now using crypto. They're actually coming together and starting to get organized and saying, we want to elect candidates across 435 congressional districts that will help create this industry here in America safely.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And we had Brian Armstrong busy today, CNBC, and then turns around and does Bloomberg and goes over the talking points. The current financial system is old, needs to be updated, and crypto is definitely the solution. And this means, guys, it's time for them to push regulation because these two interviews were clearly rehearsed. And we know the U.S. is lagging behind the emerging markets on purpose. The emerging markets were working on the fourth industrial revolution over 20 years ago. Remember, the NWO does not like freedom. America is the last place for freedom. And the blueprint is China. And that's where they want to eventually get America to. But in order to take away all the privacy, you have to bring the people to their knees. We've seen this done plenty of times in history. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you.
Brian, thank you so much for joining us. You recently made this big, interesting bet as a centralized exchange on decentralization. A year or so ago, you know, decentralization was a big worry for traditional financial players, but more so now, there are a lot of concerns about the space. So what is the case for traditional financial players to care about DeFi?
Yeah. Well, we're definitely excited about DeFi at Coinbase, and we want to make sure we help build the future of this technology here in America. Actually, a lot of traditional financial services firms are integrating this technology. I mean, everybody from, you know, JP Morgan, Visa and MasterCard, Franklin Templeton, they have projects and teams internally working on how to integrate crypto into their services. And I think the reason for that is that, you know, 80% of Americans are not happy with the current financial system as it is today. They think it's too slow, the fees are too high, it doesn't serve everybody equally, and a lot of the technology was built 40 years ago, the laws were 100 years ago, and so people are really excited about how crypto as a technology can help improve and update the financial system, and that's why we're here at Coinbase. We want to make sure that we enable that as well.
Now, are you working with collaborating with any banks to get to that point?
Yeah, so crypto is many different things, right? There are crypto securities, which we believe there should be a robust market for that in the U.S. In fact, we acquired a broker-dealer license. It's still dormant right now, but we'd like to work with the SEC to activate that and create a healthy market structure to trade crypto securities. Now, you know, of the 1,000 assets we've looked at Coinbase, you know, 800 of them we've rejected. We don't think we have, maybe they're securities. 200 or so of them we have listed on our platform. We believe those are commodities. And so we're going to continue to build that piece of our business. We're regulated by the CFTC, for instance, and make sure we grow that piece as well. But crypto is many things. It's commodities, it's securities, it's stable coins, it's artwork, it's decentralized identity systems. And so it's tough for people to wrap their head around, but it's ultimately going to have many different regulations.
Recently, in the fourth quarter, it showed that in your filings, it showed that USDC has doubled in your holdings prior to the quarter before. Why is that the case?
Well, okay, so USDC is growing quite a lot, and I think actually USDC is it's the best answer to a stablecoin in the United States, right? It's issued by Circle, which is a U.S.-based company. We're in partnership with them, and we want to see that grow. It's also been a really nice source of subscription and services revenue for us, which is, in contrast to trading fees, which are quite volatile. We've seen in our Q4 earnings that our subscription and services revenue is now 47% of Coinbase's revenue, almost half. And so that's allowing us to build a more predictable business with a diversified set of revenue streams. So, yeah, I'm quite bullish on USD Coin, and I feel like that's a good solution for the U.S. Traditional banking, there's fractional reserve, they have banking licenses, there's capital requirements. Everything in USD Coin is backed 100%. There's no fractional reserve. So I think of USD Coin as a really important tool to help payments be more efficient globally. It's helping provide, access to, something like a bank account, but it could be self-custodial for many people around the world who don't have access to a stable currency. It can improve even, a lot of DeFi, which you mentioned at the beginning. The trading pairs are denominated in USD Coin. So these are all good things which are an important part of the ecosystem.
And we have Brian Armstrong going over DeFi. And we know Brian Brooks used to work for Coinbase, which we know Coinbase, Brian Brooks, and Jeremy from Circle were all working together. And we know DeFi is definitely the new banking. And like he stated, with these big banks integrating crypto, you have JP Morgan, Visa, MasterCard, and then we know BlackRock, who owns everything, has teamed up with Coinbase. And of course, they bring up USDC. And we know USDC, I tell you, is the chosen one. If the United States government is using a stable coin to do their business, that means they've already chosen USDC. Remember, they was moving money in Venezuela. They've been moving money in Ukraine with USDC. And who backs USDC? That's right, Goldman Sachs. Guys, we know the big banks are the biggest what? I'm going to let you finish that. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
We're talking about the SEC and state regulators as well. In regulatory filings, you've noted that you've received investigative subpoenas from the SEC and state regulators. How and when do you get those resolved?
Yeah, well, subpoenas are really just requests for information, right? And so we're in dialogue with regulators, not only here in the U.S. at the state and federal level, but really around the world. I mean, we're in European markets and, in Singapore and in Australia, et cetera, Canada, many different markets around the world. So I think subpoenas are an important part of the process. That's them asking us a question and saying, we'd like more information on this, and we're happy to do that.
There's concerns about kind of more of the crypto industry moving offshore.
Mm-hmm.
Draw us a picture here of what happens in 5, 10, 20 years if the digital asset landscape exists mostly outside of the United States.
Yeah.
In exchanges that are not based here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I think that would be a terrible mistake for the United States. I mean, look at what's happening with AI, right? That's an important technology trend where it's becoming a matter of national security, right? That some of these things are built in the U.S. Or we saw it in the past with 5G or with semiconductors. And so if we have this really powerful technology, cryptocurrency, that has the potential to update the financial system and improve it in so many ways, how can we sit on the sidelines in America and say, oh, okay, well, we're going to let the EU pass comprehensive legislation, so it'll be built there, and we're going to let the UAE and London and Singapore and Hong Kong. I mean, this is America. We need to be a technology hub. We need to be a financial hub, and the future of this industry needs to be built right here in America.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance, agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
Crypto teacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, BitChute, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.